Hello everyone, and welcome to the series of Campus to Corporate, brought to you by Analytics and Consulting Club of NIT Jamshedpur, a podcast that bridges the gap between student life and the professional world. I'm your host Krishna, and in each episode, we explore the journeys of our seniors as they transition from campus to the top corporate realm. Today, I am joined by Karambir Singh Kalsi, who is a graduate from Metallurgical and Materials Engineering 24 batch and has secured a 6-month plus full-time employee at ProcDNA as a business analyst. He's also the ex-vice president of Analytics and Consulting Club, NIT Jamshedpur. Thank you for joining us, Karambir sir.
Hi everyone. Thank you for having me, Krishna. And ACC and IT Jamshedpur, both of these are very near and dear to my heart. So it's an understatement to say that I'm really honored to be here.
The pleasure is all
Very
ours, sir.
happy. Yeah.
Okay, so शुरू करते हैं. Could you give sort of a brief overview of the company to our audience, like where it is based and what does it deals with and all?
Right. So ProcDNA is a consulting firm. So basically, they do consulting majorly for US-based pharmaceutical companies. Right. So what we do is we help solve problems. That's what we do. That's what consulting is. So
Okay.
ProcDNA has 5 offices. 3 are in the US, Chicago, San Francisco, and Boston. 2 are in India, Gurugram and Pune. I am part of the Pune office.
So my next question to you is, what motivated you to pursue a career in analytics or business analytics in particular, and also when did you decide to work towards this field of interest of yours?
My brain to be challenged. I want to use my creativity to solve real problems. That sort of stuff. So in that regard, consulting was the best fit for me, 100%. So back in second year, right, when we were still attending online college, right,
Mhm.
there was this senior of ours. He was 2 years senior, so he was in the fourth year. I was in the second year. So he started this group called Core Consulting for metallurgy folks, and what he used to do there was like we used to attend the meetings, and he used to teach us stuff about consulting, about what we need to know if you want to choose consulting as an option.
Okay. So I guess I'm not that late because I'm also transitioning from the my second year to the third year. And according to
Yeah,
your example, people can still think about finding their interest and start working towards it altogether, right?
yeah, definitely. You should definitely you should figure out what you want before you go for it. 100%.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're not late.
Okay. Next, I'd like to ask about the selection or recruitment process that you went through for ProcDNA and how many rounds were there?
So for ProcDNA, there were 4 rounds in our college, right?
Mhm.
But there were other colleges where I've heard there were 5 rounds. There was also a GT round in their college. Our rounds were first we had the aptitude.
Mhm.
Then there was a case study round. Then there was a case study discussion, which was a sort of interview. And then the last round was fit round, which is, like an HR round.
Okay, so aptitude, case study, case interview, and the HR interview.
Yeah.
All right. So can you elaborate a bit about every round?
Yeah. So aptitude round, there were 60 minutes, 60 questions. So you had to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
There were math problems, logical reasoning, English, all of these things, right? And that's why you need your aptitude to be strong. I knew going in that, because so my whole game plan was I need all of my questions marked. I can't afford to leave out anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it paid off. Then the second round was the case study round. Right. So here in NIT Jamshedpur, the way they did this was they divided us into groups of 3. Right. And we were given 9 hours, and we were given sample data, and we were given 9 questions, right? And then you had to solve all of these business questions, and you had to present it in a PowerPoint, right?
Okay.
So this one was the most challenging round. But the good thing was we had completed all of the questions. Even if some of the questions were wrong, our approaches made sense, and the way we presented it, it made sense. Our PPT was satisfactory. It wasn't good, but that is, that is a bias because now that I'm here working here, the definition of good has changed, right? So the best we could do was satisfactory, right?
Right.
We got selected there. Case study was, I'll talk about case study a bit more later. Then there was a case study interview, right, where we had to present, and I was tested on my communication skills, how willing I am to discuss my errors, the way I discuss my errors, and the things that I've done right, how do I explain those, right? All of those things were tested. And finally, it was the fit round. Fit round, they asked me about my strengths, weaknesses, that sort of stuff. Yeah. Some puzzles.
Mhm. Next, I would like to ask about like the final round, where the stakes are usually the highest. So, how did your
Yeah.
interview round go, and what questions were asked, if you remember any few?
Right. So, how did my interview round go? So basically, it was not just the final round that was the interview. Even the case study round was the interview, right? The
Right.
case study discussion, I mean. So the third and fourth round, both of them were interviews. I remember before the third round, I was confident with my communication skills, right? I think like that's one area where like I stand out. But the stakes are really high, right? You
Right.
can't help but feel nervous. You can't help but feel, I mean, even gassy sometimes. Before the interview, I remember I could not sit still. I was just roaming around the room. I was going to the terrace. I came back. I was just so uneasy, so uncomfortable. But once it started, right, just keep in mind what you're going to say in the beginning, right? Keep rehearsing that again and again. Because uh, once you nail the beginning, right, after that you just go into the flow. After that, you just forget
Right.
about all your nerves and all that. So then the questions become easier. As the interview went on, it got easier and easier. He did ask me about a concept. He was like, this particular concept was supposed to be used here. Have you heard of that before? I was like, I have no idea what that is. And he was like, okay, that's fine. Don't really need to sweat about it. And then I was asked some puzzles, some guesstimate questions. I think one guesstimate question.
Yeah.
The fit round, because I had already nailed this round, right? By the end of the round, I was like, yeah, okay, I think I did a good job. I have a good feeling about this. And I got selected. For the fit round, because now I have recently had an experience with an interview, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll be fine with this. I didn't feel as nervous as I was with the previous one. And also fit round, I knew they would ask a lot of, strengths and weaknesses type of questions. So those are easy, generally.
Right.
So I was ready. They asked me stuff about my CV. They asked me why my CG was low. A few puzzles you can find on Geeks for Geeks. That's a website, right?
Yes.
They have a lot of puzzles. Monty Hall, sorry. Monty Hall is a puzzle, and yeah, that was it. That was it.
Okay. Right. So as you mentioned about the nailing the beginning, right? I myself
Yeah,
have anchored many events, and I know what you're talking about. Like if the
yeah,
beginning goes well, that then the whole show
yeah,
goes
yeah.
well.
100%. Yeah.
Okay. So all of this might sound really intense to the audience. So what do you think are the skills necessary to be possessed by a candidate to be able to clear all these rounds? Like you mentioned about the communication skills and all.
You need aptitude skills. You need communication skills, and you need just common sense. Yeah.
Right. And Excel and PowerPoint goes.
Right. Excellent PowerPoint. Yeah, that's a must. So you need basics of Excel. You should know about that. I would say Excel helps a lot. Even if you don't know Python, even if you don't know SQL, I didn't know Python and SQL, to be honest. I had done an EDA project. I had included that in my CV just for the sake of including it. But I think most of you know EDA projects are like really basic, really easy to do.
Right.
I would add another skill, storytelling skills. Right.
Right.
Any any question that they ask you, you can relate that to something that has happened in your life,
Right.
and you were like, okay, this is the one time this happened to me. this is the story, and this is the lesson I gained from that story. This helps in the interviews. It's not really necessary that I have to perfect this skill, but yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty much all you need to know.
That was an interesting
It's
point you
not a lot.
mentioned. That was seriously an interesting point you mentioned about selling what you already, the skills you possess. You should be able to
Yeah,
sell those.
yeah, you should be
Right.
able to sell it.
Okay, so moving on. As you received a 6-month plus full-time employee offer, I'm sure you would have a fair idea about how things are going to work out, right? So what are your expectations from the role at which you're hired? And also, could you provide a bit of an idea like about the projects that you were involved during your 6-month period at ProcDNA?
Right. So 6 months plus FTE. First of all, I think I got really lucky with that offer because now I'm not feeling the pressure of, I need to stand out in the office or else I won't get the
Right.
PPO. Right. Uh, in those terms, yeah, I'm feeling happy. But yeah, the general notion is you have to do a good job. It'll be the same for me. What I'm doing right now, I'll be doing then as well. So, uh, in terms of what are my expectations immediately, nothing much is going to change. But I do know that ProcDNA, it's still in its infancy, right? It started in 2020, still growing in its growing stage, right? That's part of the reason why I wanted to, like, I was so excited by ProcDNA is I knew that with how the company is growing, I will grow with it, right?
Right.
So I have I have huge hopes for the future that I'll get to experience fast-paced growth, right? So in terms of that, I'm hopeful. What was your other question?
My other question was about the projects that you were involved during your 6-month period.
Right, I can't really give away too much here. So in the beginning, it was just like my internship journey. I'll talk about that. In the beginning, it was just trainings for like a month. It was just trainings. There was a lot of onboarding sessions for 2 weeks. Then there were a lot of courses that they gave us that you can go through. Uh, some assignments as well. In fact, then the way they transitioned us into work was they used to give us like I used to do little works like additional works, ad hoc tasks they call it. Like it's just going to be like I'm assisting them in some major work, right? Not really part of a project, right? That's how I started. So that used to be sometimes it used to get manual, sometimes it used to be desk research. I would have to research about my clients or about their competitors, or maybe some business development research. I'll have to research a list of potential clients, uh, list of MSLs, KOLs. These are terms that you'll get to know about later on.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, that was the beginning. Then I got transitioned into project work. I got to uh, like in real time, I had to study business questions and I had to come up with my own hypotheses. And the way it works here is that, like my senior, he just gave me all of the questions, he just gave me all of the data, and he went, like, you have to figure it out. Give me something by the end of this day, just something that we can start a discussion on. Right. And that really excited me, even made me nervous, but I was also excited that I had all the freedom to like I could think as creatively as possible. I could research as much as I wanted to. That is just normal project work where they ask us open-ended questions about, we want to boost our sales. How do we do that? So on and so forth.
Right.
Again, I can't take any names of the clients, so I think this is all I can say for now.
I think now we are able to picture an idea about how things work at your firm, ProcDNA.
Yeah, I
Also,
mean, these are some of the unique tasks, I would say. I
yes,
don't think I'll get to do this again. But I'm just giving you an idea of this is something that something along these lines you'll have to do if you go into consulting.
mm. At beginning, it is the learning stage altogether, right?
Yeah, beginning it's just learning.
Okay. Also, like about your role, the business analyst role, it is known for its demanding work culture. So how do you plan to
Yeah.
maintain a healthy work-life balance in future?
Yeah, again, this is a tough one. All right.
Right.
So going in, I knew that, work culture is going to be demanding. I'll have to put in a lot of hours. I knew that. Already accepted that. And I was fine with it because okay, this is really what I want to do. I'm ready to compromise on one thing, right? I have been given the option that you can go work from home once a week. I don't choose that option. I still go to the office every day because I just love hanging out with these people, right? And even after office, we go to play cricket. A lot of times, like every third day or fourth day, we go to play cricket and we play badminton, we play FIFA. Like we just have a lot of fun together. So in those terms, the work culture is really good, and I think I got really lucky that with ProcDNA, right? So I don't really have a good answer for this. I can just say that you have to hope you get lucky.
Oh,
That's all I can say.
right.
Yeah.
I would also like to mention that it is truly said about that no job is easy, and basically it's about your interest and involvement towards the work, right?
Yeah, 100%. Like if you
Uh,
really want to do it, you will compromise. You will have to compromise on something.
yes, you're able to put all those hours of yours into work, and
Yeah,
that is not a big deal for you.
yeah. It's not a big deal. Like I haven't really felt the pressure, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like even though I have to sometimes, and there are also some days when I don't have to put in a lot of hours. Like there are days when I really don't have any work, so I just log off early.
At last, if you want to give one piece of advice to the students that are aspiring to be in this domain as you are, so what will that be?
Yeah, right. I looking back, I know there were a lot of things I didn't know. There were a lot of candidates who were better than me, and I'm still shocked how I got selected. Right. So to me, it's like it's just chill, relax, slowly, steadily build upon your skills as much as you can. You don't have to be perfect. Just on the final day, give your best, and you'll find that your best will be enough.
All right. Thank you
That
so
is
much.
the only
That
advice
was
that
a
I have.
fine piece of advice. I think that sums up today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. It has been a real pleasure to have you on the show.
Yeah, thanks again, Krishna, for having me, and thank you everyone who is listening to this. All the best.
To our listeners, thank you for tuning in into the first episode of Campus to Corporate. If you enjoyed today's conversation, please take a moment to comment down below about what questions you found intriguing. Also, do mention if I forgot to ask any questions, any important questions that we would be able to add in our upcoming sessions. So, thank you so much.